The 1990 Philippine two-piso coin holds a special place in the evolution of modern Philippine currency. Though not in circulation today, it remains a collectible item for many numismatists and coin enthusiasts. Due to its transitional significance and limited run, let's explore the long and true history behind this iconic coin. The Philippine two-piso coin was introduced in the early 1980s as part of the Flora and Fauna series, replacing the old two-peso banknotes. The idea was to modernize and strengthen the country's currency by introducing durable coins that could withstand frequent handling in daily transactions. The obverse side front of the 1992 coin features Andres Bonifacio, the great Filipino revolutionary and founder of the Katipunan movement, known as the father of the Philippine Revolution. His image symbolizes nationalism, bravery, and the people's fight for independence. Republica ng Pilipinas, the year of minting 1990. The reverse side showcases the Philippine coat of arms, with symbols representing the three main island groups, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. The coin's denomination, Dalawang Piso, the BSP Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas name. This composition was chosen to ensure durability in heavy circulation environments, replacing the vulnerable two-peso banknote. The 1990s were a time of economic rebuilding and political transformation under the administration of President Corazon Aquino. The country was recovering from the dictatorship of Ferdinand Marcos and transitioning into a more democratic state. Issuing coins like the two-piso was part of a larger effort to symbolize national pride and rebuild public trust in Philippine institutions and currency. The Philippine peso to coin was not widely circulated for long, as it was eventually discontinued in favor of a more unified and simplified coinage system under the improved Flora and Fauna series and later, the new BSP coin series. While the 1990 two-piso coin was not extremely rare in production numbers, its limited period of circulation and eventual demonetization mean that fewer well-preserved specimens exist today. Can fetch higher value among collectors, sometimes reaching hundreds or even thousands of pesos, depending on condition and rarity. The two-piso coin was officially demonetized by the BSP along with other Flora and Fauna coins during currency modernization. The newer coin series eventually removed the two denomination altogether and introduced Philippine Peso 5 and Philippine Peso 10 coins as replacements in common usage. As of today, the two-piso coin is no longer legal tender but remains highly collectible. The 1992 piso coin remains a symbol of transition from a struggling post-Marcos society to a hopeful democratic Philippines. Featuring Andres Bonifacio also highlights a shift from honoring elites to celebrating the common hero. Its place in the numismatic world serves as a reminder of national struggle, transformation, and the continuing journey of Philippine identity. 25 Sentimo coin was redesigned in 1995 and remained in production through the early 2000s, including this notable 2002 issue. The coin was minted by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Security Plant Complex, using modern equipment aimed at producing durable, cost-efficient coins. In 2002, millions were struck for general circulation, though considered minor coinage. The 25 Sentimo helped with precise transaction amounts, especially for jeepney fares, sari-sari stores, and local markets. This design was part of the floral coin series, which featured native Filipino symbols and patterns, reflecting the country's unique heritage. The 2025 Sentimo coin was made of copper-plated steel, designed to be lightweight yet durable. From earlier brass compositions helped reduce minting costs without compromising function. During the early 2000s, inflation and modernization of banking required a coinage system that could facilitate both high and low-value transactions. The 25 Sentimo coin played a crucial role in that balance, particularly in public transportation, small-scale trade, and vending machine compatibility. While not considered rare in circulation, the 2025 Sentimo coin can gain value if found in. Collectors often seek complete year sets of the new BSP series, making this coin a piece of a bigger collectible story. As the BSP launched the new generation currency and GC coin series in 2018, the 2002 version and its siblings from the BSP series were eventually demonetized in 2019. This marked the end of an era and increased collector interest in older coins. The coin's design and historical era serve as a tool for teaching national pride, monetary literacy, and cultural symbolism. It tells the story of a country progressing toward economic modernization while preserving its revolutionary past. Although rare, some 202 25 centimo coins have been reported with minting flaws, doubling in legends. These errors are sought after by niche collectors and can command values far exceeding face value. Compared to earlier brass versions or later NGC coins, the 202 25 centimo holds a middle ground, neither too old nor too new, yet iconic in its own right. It bridges the transition between to monetary 2000. The 25 centimo of 2002 is an understated coin, lightweight, small, and composed primarily of brass-bladed steel. On one side, the denomination 25 centimo is engraved with the year 2002 at the bottom and Republica ng Pilipinas circling the upper half. The reverse side features the logo of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, which had undergone redesign in 1993. To most Filipinos, it was nothing more than a coin used for bus fares, sari-sari store purchases, and daily exchanges. But to expert numismatists, certain specimens of the 2002 25 centimo stand out not because of their face value, but because of the mystery buried deep in their metal. According to multiple reports and collector forums, an ultra-rare variant of the 2002 25 centimo surfaced, catching the attention of seasoned collectors. This specific coin is believed to have been struck on the wrong planchet, or even mismatched with another denomination's die, creating an unusual hybrid error. Some say it was struck on a blank intended for a foreign coin. Others claim it contains misaligned dies, missing elements, or a combination of errors, like a double strike or off-center minting. One particular specimen, found in near-mint condition with an uncirculated shine and anomalous features, was reportedly valued at $500,000 USD by a private collector. The sheer price stunned the Philippine numismatic community. Why would a 25 centavo coin, normally overlooked and ignored, command such an astronomical value? The answer lies in scarcity, error classification, and the increasing global fascination with Philippine currency from the post, resulting in mismatched weight, color, or size. These coins passed through unnoticed at first until someone with a sharp eye recognized the anomaly. The $500,000 25 centimo is considered to be one of these anomalies. Reports indicate it was verified by a leading international coin certification agency and graded as mint state. 2002. The Philippines was undergoing economic recovery after the financial turbulence of the late 1990s. The Asian financial crisis of 1997 had left its mark on many Southeast Asian countries, and the Philippines was no exception. Inflation, currency devaluation, and structural reforms were ongoing challenges. During this time, every peso counted, and coins of smaller denominations, like the 25 centimo, remained vital for everyday transactions. Despite their small value, low-denomination coins, such as the 25 centimo, played an essential role in stabilizing the economy, supporting low-cost goods, transportation fares, and public utility payments. These coins were the heartbeat of the microeconomy, especially in rural and urban poor communities. The 25 centimo denomination has a long and rich history in Philippine coinage. It traces its roots back to the early Spanish colonial period, when centavo-based systems were first introduced. During the American era in the early 20th century, the 25 centavo coin was a silver piece, intricately designed and valued as a substantial amount of money. Over time, as the value of currency changed, the physical material and size of the coin evolved. By the time the 2002 version was minted, the 25 centimo had become a brass-bladed steel coin, small, lightweight, and mass-produced. It had transitioned from silver and copper-nickel to cheaper metals, a practical decision, aligned with inflation and economic efficiency. Yet the design retained national pride, with Filipino motifs and the official seal of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas (BSP) standing proudly on its reverse. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, established in 1993, ushered in a new era of coin design and production in the Philippines. The new central bank focused on modernizing financial tools, combating inflation, and enhancing currency security. The coins of the late 1990s and early 2000s, including the 2000 to 25 centimo, were part of this transformation. Under BSP oversight, new coin series were released that were cost-effective, durable, and easy to identify by touch, important for visually impaired citizens. The 25 centimo was minted using advanced techniques that aimed for uniformity and reliability. Yet, ironically, This same mass production process is what sometimes led to error coins slipping through the cracks, the very coins that are now the most valuable. Despite producing hundreds of millions of 25 Sentimo coins, it is believed that a very small batch of 2002 coins were struck with significant errors, wrong planchet errors, for example struck on a 10 Sentimo or 50 Sentimo blank double die, obverse where the date or lettering appears twice, die cracks and cuts chunks missing due to damaged dies, rotated die strikes misalignment between obverse and reverse. Some experts even suggest that a foreign blank may have been mistakenly used, a rare occurrence that produces a coin with unusual weight, color, or thickness. Coins of this nature, the Philippine peso system, subdivided into 100 Sentimo, has its roots in the colonial period, with influences from Spanish, American, and local traditions. By the early 2000s, the Philippine economy had already undergone several transformations. After achieving full independence in 1946, the country introduced its own currency systems, replacing foreign motifs with indigenous heroes, national emblems, and symbolic imagery. The 25 Sentimo coin had long been a staple of the currency system, frequently used in daily life. Over time, it evolved not only in function, but also in form and metal content. Originally minted in more durable and sometimes precious metals, during earlier periods, the coin was eventually produced using more cost-effective materials, due to rising minting expenses and the devaluation of smaller denominations. By 2002, the 25 Sentimo coin was struck in brass-bladed steel, a lightweight and economical choice. This change was part of the BSP coin series, which had officially started in the mid-1990s, under the authority of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, created in 1993, to replace the old Central Bank of the Philippines. This was a major institutional shift that aimed to modernize financial systems, reduce inflation, and strengthen economic resilience. The new coin designs of this era were sleek, modern, and practical. They prioritized ease of identification, both visually and by touch, especially for the visually impaired. The possibility of an ultra-rare coin of this kind existing is not far-fetched. Across the world, coins with dramatic minting errors, especially when preserved, have fetched astronomical sums. The intrigue surrounding the 2002 25 Sentimo only adds fuel to the fire. The 2002 coin came into existence, the 25 centavo denomination. The 2012 coin still belongs to the BSP series, which was circulated from 1995 to 2017. The front obverse of the one-piso 2012 coin features a right-facing portrait of Dr. Jose Rizal, the country's national hero. Rizal's legacy as a patriot, writer, and reformist is immortalized on this coin. His image is a tribute to his enduring influence on Filipino nationalism. Rizal's presence on the coin serves as a daily reminder to the Filipino people of the sacrifices made for the nation's freedom. The reverse side of the coin carries the official seal of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Central Bank of the Philippines, the denomination 1 piso, the mint mark or small letter indicating the minting origin, usually near the rim. The BSP seal, updated in 2010, signifies financial integrity and stability, and marks the BSP's commitment to a trustworthy and efficient monetary system. Although the 2012 one-piso coin was part of the older BSP series, it coexisted with the preparation phase for the new generation currency coin series, which would be launched in 2018. The design, material, and size of the one-piso coin would change significantly in the following years to meet newer security and cost efficiency standards. This coin was heavily used in public transportation, markets, sari-sari stores, and vending machines. It was a vital part of daily transactions for millions of Filipinos. Its wide circulation and reliable design made it a cornerstone of Philippine commerce in the 2010s. The 2012 one-piso coin is not rare, but certain pieces in uncirculated or mint condition, especially in full rolls or proof sets, may have collector interest. Error coins from this year, such as mistrikes, off-center minting, or double dies, can fetch a premium value among numismatists, moved toward more modern coinage systems. This coin stood as one of the last representatives of a generation, a time when heritage 1885 two-piso coin, bearing Bonifacio's face, was a subtle propaganda tool, designed to associate the Marcos government with revolutionary heroism, though many saw it as deeply ironic. Bonifacio was a perfect icon for a turbulent time. He was not only a founder of the Katipunan and a revolutionary, but also a symbol of struggle against Colonial oppression. By using Bonifacio's image, the government hoped to associate its regime with patriotic resistance, even though many saw Marcos as the very type of tyrant that Bonifacio fought against. This made the coin a politically charged item, and in hindsight, a symbol of the contradictions of the Marcos era. On the reverse side of the 1985 two-piso coin is the Philippine eagle, one of the rarest and most powerful birds in the world. By 1985, the eagle was already critically endangered due to deforestation and habitat loss, an issue that was largely ignored by the government at the time. Including the eagle on the coin served two purposes: to inspire national pride by highlighting a unique species found only in the Philippines, environmental degradation under Marcos logging policies, which had allowed massive deforestation for political allies and cronies. So while the eagle represented majesty and strength, it also quietly told the story of a vanishing ecosystem, overlooked during an era of corruption and neglect. The 1985 two-piso coin was large and heavy, 14.6 grams, 31 millimeters in diameter, reflecting its intended importance and value in everyday trade. But ironically, while the coin was big, its real-world purchasing power was shrinking. The Filipino people were experiencing economic hardship. By 1985, the Philippines had endured 2 decades under Ferdinand Marcos, who declared martial law in 1972 and ruled with an iron fist. The economy, once considered one of the strongest in Southeast Asia, had collapsed under the weight of cronyism, nepotism, and widespread corruption. The Marcos government borrowed heavily from foreign banks, enriching a small elite while poverty grew. Many government projects were over-budgeted and underutilized, with billions of pesos lost to ghost infrastructure and kickbacks. The currency system, including the coins, was managed by the Central Bank of the Philippines, but under tight control and political influence from Malacagang Palace. In this climate, the 1985 two-piso coin was more than just money. It was part of a state-controlled narrative. Coins were designed not just to circulate, but to reflect and reinforce state ideals. The image of Bonifacio, the revolutionary who died fighting for freedom, was meant to project strength and legitimacy. The eagle on the reverse symbolized a proud, independent nation when in fact, the Philippines was deeply dependent on foreign loans and politically unstable. Thus, the coin represents the contradiction between state messaging and lived reality. By the mid-1980s, trust in institutions had crumbled. Citizens questioned everything from police to public services, to the very currency in their hands. Coins, once symbols of order and stability, were now handled with suspicion. People noticed inconsistencies in designs and even suspected coins were intentionally made heavier or larger to impress, while their actual value declined. The two-piso coin, despite its striking size, had less purchasing power every year. What once bought rice, bread, or soap by 1985 could barely buy a tricycle ride. With inflation rising, counterfeit coins became a growing issue. Some fake two-piso coins entered the market, usually made with inferior metal alloys. The government responded with stricter minting security, but it wasn't enough. Banks and businesses had difficulty identifying real from fake coins, especially in provincial areas. This further weakened public confidence in the currency. For ordinary Filipinos, the two-piso coin was used daily in public transportation, jeepney and bus fares, markets, palanque for small food purchases, school canteens, bailed money for students. People would stack these coins in old jars or soda bottles. Some tied them in handkerchiefs or hid them under beds during times of uncertainty, especially during rumors of bank closures or military coups. It became part of daily survival, simple yet essential. The 5. Bonifacio symbolizes rebellion, people power, and national pride, fitting during the final years of the Marcos regime when Filipinos were once again demanding freedom. The reverse of the coin displays the coat of arms of the Central Bank of the Philippines, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, along with the text Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas and two-piso. The inclusion of the central bank seal emphasizes financial authority and state stability. By 1985, the Philippines was enduring the tail end of the 20-year rule of Ferdinand Marcos, a time marked by martial law, massive debt, crony capitalism, and public unrest. The economy was in decline, inflation was high, and foreign investors were pulling out. Amid this crisis, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas issued this two-piso coin to maintain larger denominations in circulation. As paper money's value diminished, choosing Andres Bonifacio for the two-piso denomination was politically symbolic. Bonifacio, often considered a man of the people, was an ideal representation of Filipino resilience and nationalism. His presence on the coin reflected the brewing spirit of resistance and impending change, which would erupt into the people power revolution of 1986. Just a year after this coin was minted, the Philippine peso suffered significant devaluation during the early 1980s due to heavy borrowing and political instability. The issuance of a two-piso coin instead of a banknote was part of cost-cutting measures and efforts to streamline cash usage. Coins last longer in circulation than paper money and were more practical for daily transactions during inflation. While not particularly rare in its time, the 1985 two-piso coin has grown in collectible value due to its historical relevance. Coins in uncirculated or brilliant uncirculated condition, especially with clear details of Bonifacio's face and the reverse seal, can attract the attention of both numismatists and historians. Special error variants such as off-centered strikes, double dies, or misalignments can significantly raise its value, with some fetching thousands of pesos, or even hundreds of US dollars in collector markets. The 1985 two-piso coin was one of the last coins to be officially issued under the presidency of Ferdinand Marcos, who ruled the Philippines from 1965 to 1986. This coin reflects the final financial and ideological messaging of his government before its fall during the People Power Revolution. By 1985, the Philippines was suffering from high inflation, political uncertainty, and declining foreign confidence. This two-piso coin was part of a broader economic strategy to simplify coinage and reduce dependency on low-value paper money. Choosing Andres Bonifacio, a revolutionary who fought colonial tyranny, for the obverse was a deliberate political message. His revolutionary past resonated with a public increasingly frustrated by authoritarian rule and human rights abuses under Marcos. The coin was minted by the Banco Central ng Pilipinas (BSP), using durable copper-nickel material. Its reeded edge, weight, and wide diameter were designed to reflect the value of 2 pesos at the time. However, due to inflation, the actual purchasing power of the coin declined shortly after its release. In 1985, 2 peso had moderate buying power cash flow. It showed that the government was trying to manage the economy's decline without making deeper reforms. Every element of the coin, from Bonifacio's portrait to the inscription Republica ng Pilipinas, was designed to promote nationalism and pride. It was as much a propaganda tool as it was a medium of exchange. Many Filipinos saw the coin's imagery and timing as ironic. Just 1 year later, in 1986, millions of Filipinos would rise in a peaceful revolution, overthrowing Marcos and restoring democracy. The 1985 coin, featuring a national revolutionary hero, unintentionally became symbolic of that movement. Although millions were minted, many 1985 two-piso coins were later demonetized or removed from circulation. Today, well-preserved specimens are less common, making them attractive to collectors and historians. The 1985 two-piso was part of the Ng Bagong Lipunan ABL coin series, introduced in the early 1970s as part of Marcos's vision of a new society. These coins reflected his political ideals, but were ultimately discontinued after his fall. Post-1986, the Aquino administration began to modernize Philippine currency, gradually phasing out Marcos-era coinage, including this one. The design philosophy shifted from political symbolism to economic functionality and national heroes. The series was launched as a response to criticisms about earlier coin designs that lacked Filipino cultural identity. It was also an attempt to instill patriotism in a time of political unease. The coin features the portrait of Andres Bonifacio, the leader of the Katipunan and one of the most important figures in the Philippine Revolution against Spain. The inscription reads Republica ng Pilipinas and Andres Bonifacio along with the mint year 1985. Bonifacio symbolizes bravery, nationalism, and revolution values promoted by the Marcos regime to link their government with historical heroism. Displays the image of the Philippine eagle Pithecophagi Jeffrey, known locally as the Haribon or Herring Iban King of birds. The eagle is a symbol of freedom, power, and pride again, aligning with the themes of national strength during a period of dictatorship. Also included is the coin's denomination, one-piso, and the text Banco Central ng Philippines. The two-piso coin was actively circulated in the mid-1980s, used for buying food, groceries, and daily necessities. At the time, Philippine peso had moderate purchasing power, equivalent to a simple meal or a few liters of gasoline. However, due to inflation and economic instability, the value of the Philippine 1 peso coin was and still is the most used coin in everyday transaction, from jeepney fares to sari-sari store purchases. The 2010 issue was part of widespread circulation and could be found across the archipelago, while the 2010 1 peso coin had limited visible security features. Its specific composition and minting methods served as basic deterrents to counterfeiters. Its plain edge and metal characteristics helped distinguish it from similar-sized foreign coins. Though common, the 2010 1 peso coin holds modest collector interest. Uncirculated or mint-condition pieces may fetch a small premium in numismatic circles, especially when bundled in complete BSP series sets. In 2018, the Bangko Sentral NG Pilipinas introduced the NGC coin series, gradually replacing older BSP coins. The new 1 peso coin featured the Philippine whaling flower, different size and metallic composition, reeded edge, and enhanced aesthetic details. The 2010 Philippine 1 peso coin represents a period in the country's economic history marked by stability, modernization, and a drive for practical currency reform. It remains a silent witness to a decade of Philippine life, 1 peso at a time. 2010 The Philippines was experiencing steady economic growth under the administration of President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, transitioning into the presidency of Benigno Noynoy Aquino. 3. The economy was recovering from the 2008 global financial crisis, and inflation was under control. The peso was gaining stability against the US dollar. During this time, the 1 peso coin played an essential role in microtransactions and day-to-day trade, especially among the working class. Millions of 1 peso coins were minted and circulated across the Philippines in 2010. This coin was used daily by vendors, jeepney drivers, students, and workers. A tricycle fare in rural towns often cost exactly 1 peso, making this coin a staple in everyone's pocket. In sari-sari stores, it could buy a small sachet of shampoo or a single piece of candy, which is why children were among the biggest users of the 1 peso coin. Unlike larger denominations or paper bills, the 1 peso coin symbolized grassroots survival. In marketplaces, change was always given in peso coins. Many Filipinos would keep these coins in small plastic containers, empty peanut butter jars, or old piggy banks. Over time, they'd collect hundreds of pesos, enough to pay utility bills, school fees, or buy basic groceries. In many true stories shared online and in communities, 1 peso coins were often used to teach children savings habits. One such story comes from a mother in Bulacan who taught her children to save every 1 peso coin they received from school or as allowance. After a year, they gathered over 1,000 pesos, which was used to buy school supplies. Interestingly, the 1 peso coin was often confused with Thai baht and US quarter dollars in some vending machines and coin-operated devices abroad. In fact, stories circulated that the Philippine peso coin could trick machines in Hong Kong and Singapore, which is why airport security and vending companies in those countries began adjusting their settings. This gave the coin a sort of international notoriety unintentionally. The 1 peso 2010 coin was minted at the BSP Mint in Quezon City, one of the most secure and advanced mints in Southeast Asia. Minting records from that year indicate that millions of pieces were struck to meet demand for coins in circulation. These coins were distributed directly to banks, stores, transport operators, and municipalities across Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. In the late 2000s and early 2010s, the Philippines faced a minor coin shortage, especially for small denominations. The BSP encouraged people to recirculate coins instead of hoarding them. The 1 peso coin was particularly affected, as many were kept in jars or lost over time. This shortage led to educational campaigns urging Philippines. The year 2000 was a politically tense and economically uncertain time for the Philippines. The country was under the presidency of Joseph Estrada, whose administration faced numerous challenges, including corruption allegations and economic instability. These circumstances indirectly affected the currency system, especially public trust in the economy. The 1 peso 2000 coin belongs to the BSP coin series and carries distinct visual elements. The coin features Jose Rizal, the national hero of the Philippines, The name Jose Rizal is inscribed beside the image. The words, Republica ng Pilipinas are written around the upper rim. The date 2000 is clearly engraved below. Rizal's portrait. Central element, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas BSP logo. Introduced in 1993 after the central bank was reorganized. Under Republic Act No. 7653. Denomination. The value 1 piso is inscribed showing its use as general currency. Featuring Dr. Jose Rizal, the intellectual and revolutionary leader of the 19th century, emphasized patriotism and the fight for independence. Rizal symbolizes knowledge, reform, and peaceful resistance, making him an ideal figure to represent the currency. The BSP series coins, including the 1 piso 2000, incorporated advanced minting techniques to make counterfeiting more difficult. The reeded edge and detailed BSP logo were added as security features. In 2000, the 1 piso coin had considerable purchasing power and was essential for daily life, especially among commuters and small business vendors. Despite inflation, it maintained wide usage and was essential for exact change in transactions. Today, the 1 piso 2000 coin is common and generally holds face value in circulation. However, coins in uncirculated or proof condition can attract attention from collectors, especially those assembling full BSP series sets. Values may range from Philippine peso 5 to Philippine peso 50 depending on quality and demand. The 2000 1 piso coin was one of the last in the BSP series to be produced, before the introduction of the new generation currency NGC coin series in 2018. Some 1 piso coins from 2000 were kept by OFWs, overseas Filipino workers, and became mementos representing the time they left the country. The 1 piso coin, especially with Rizal's image, is often used in education. The 50 Sentimo coin, minted in 1971, is an important part of the Philippines' monetary and political history. This coin was issued during a time of transition in the country and reflects both its evolving economic system and its national identity. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, the Philippines was under the presidency of Ferdinand Marcos, who declared martial law in 1972. The 1971 50 Sentimo coin came just 1 year before this declaration and stands as a symbol of the pre-martial law economy. This coin is part of the Filipino series, which was first introduced in 1967. The purpose of this coin series was to emphasize Filipino identity by using the Filipino language instead of English, which had been used on earlier coins. Marcelo H. del Pilar was one of the most prominent Filipino propagandists during the Spanish era. He was a journalist, lawyer, and reform advocate. Placing his image on the 50 Sentimo coin was a tribute to his contributions to the fight for Philippine independence from Spanish rule. Main feature: the coat of arms of the Philippines. Text: Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. The coat of arms includes a sun representing freedom and democracy, 3 stars for Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. An eagle and lion, symbolizing the country's historical ties to the U.S. and Spain, respectively. Pre-martial law symbol. The 1971 coin was the last 50 Sentimo before major political changes happened in the country in 1972. Part of the Filipino series, it marked a cultural shift by embracing Filipino names and language on the currency. Tribute to a national hero, Marcelo H. del Pilar, symbolizes the national struggle for freedom and intellect, making the coin culturally significant. Rarity over time. While not extremely rare, the 197150 Sentimo is now considered a vintage coin and is in demand among collectors, especially in uncirculated or high-grade condition. Circulated condition often sells for a few pesos to a couple of dollars. Uncirculated or mint condition may be worth several dollars USD, $3, $10 or more, depending on the beer and condition. Proof or error coins. These can fetch higher values if authenticated. The 1971 Philippine 50 Sentimo coin serves as a historical artifact that tells the story of a nation before a major turning point in its political life. It celebrates a national hero and mirrors the cultural shift from colonial influence to national pride. For collectors and historians, this coin is not just currency, it's a piece of Philippine heritage.